lost one of my friends recently because he kept striking his child in front of me. So, by all means, I like to hang out with my comrades. When we're all available in our adultship, being all free of our schedules, no work, we all have a monumentous day. We plan an entire hangout. All right, we're going to have a sleepover. It's going to be fun. We're going to watch Powerpuff Girls. We're going to do our nails. It's absolutely spectacular. And it was a fun event because I arrived at his house dirty as all hell. It was amazing. I loved every second of it. I look around and I say, whoa, gee willikers. This is really bad. You should get a maid or something, or I don't know. You should clean yourself. I don't know what's going on here. I felt the compass of black mold hit my chest and bosom. I felt the disgust inside of my vitriol, but I thought to myself, well, he's a single man. It's not really gonna. Then I saw a child zoom on by. I said, who's that boy? What is that thing walking around? What is that goblin walking around? He said, oh, yeah, that's my son. What? A son? When did you have a child? He said, I had an 8-year-old for a few years. For a few years? Did you have him at his birth? Because you said 8 implies the amount of years I would already know. He said, well, the mom gave me a kid and I got full custody because she in jail. But I didn't really want a little dude to begin with. I said, oh, quite interesting. Well, I hope this doesn't stop our hangout. He said, nah, he gonna be in the room most of the time. He yelled with a Gregorian roar and said, hey, Dimitri. And the kid stopped running and stopped all his tracks and began to shake as if something was going on. I could feel the fears. I could feel his goose pimples going around his back. He said, go upstairs. Adults are playing. I'm like, okay, whoa, that's depressing. And the kid slowly, begrudgingly, I didn't even get the child to say hello to me, just walked upstairs. I said, whoa, well, quite the move you did there. That was interesting. He said, yeah, he listened. So let's go. So we go to his room, spotless. The outside, completely disgusting, filled with filth, vitriol, gnats flying everywhere, big disgusting piles of clothes, workout equipment all over, toys scattered about. His room completely spotless, as if it was a king's chamber. He had a bathroom inside of there. It was outstanding, as if I was in a different house. I was looking around, did I enter a different dimension? I don't know what's going on. He said, all right, cool, we gonna get this going. Now take heed, I arrived there at 3 p.m. 3 p.m. is the time frame I arrived there. So, we're playing the video game, UFC 2. He said, you hungry? I said, I could go for a little snack. I'm a little bit peckish. He said, all right, cool. I'm about to get us some pizza. He orders some Marco's pizza, and he gets 1 medium pizza. And I'm very excited. I eat the pizza, and I say, wait a minute. I'm thinking to myself, I forgot there was a little scamp around here. What is the son eating? And then he said, the son got a fridge upstairs. Don't worry about it. I said, okay, that's quite interesting. I'm a little bit confused. I said, okay, let's stop playing Halo 2. Let's go see the fridge. He said, all right, you worried about him too much, man. He good. He an independent kid. I said, I'm just going to go see and check. He said, all right. So I go by myself because he's eating his pizza. I walk upstairs. I hear creaks throughout the steps. There's a hole in the side of the wall. It looks to be some form of lead or asbestos. I'm not sure what it is, but it looks like microplastics if I've ever seen it. So I know it's affecting somebody's lungs, and it feels like mine. As I go up, the air gets heavier and denser because heat rises. And then I see a pile of clothes that are all wet, just a wet pile of clothes in the middle of the hallway. I say, wow, I've never wanted to call CPS, but I'm feeling like I'm going to have to at some point. So I go to the right, see the room, and I see the bathroom. The bathroom has stains, it's clogged up toilet, you can't flush it, there's no plunger in the household, and the kid is just in the corner braiding a doll's hair. I say, hey, what's up? He talks to the dolls, and he says, oh, what's going on? I said, hey, what's up, little dude? It's cracking. He said, friend, you a friend? I said, I'm a friend, I'm chilling. And I see his teeth, and they're all riddled with messed up. His gums are extremely black. I said, hey, man, when's the last time you brushed your teeth? He looked at me confused and said, when's the time of what? I said, brush your teeth. He said, what? What's that? I said, okay, so you know your teeth? He said, I said, you can brush them. He said, okay, how do I do that? I said, we're going to worry about that later. Where's your food? He said, oh, okay, over here. I've never been so angry in my entire life, ever. I've never been so disrespectful. The fridge was a mini fridge. He did have a mini fridge, but in there was, I believe, week-old Lunchables. And when I say week-old Lunchables, I mean the Lunchables were opened up. The kid would eat a little bit of Lunchable, close it, and put it back in the fridge. These Lunchables were molding, and he was just eating the cracker parts and ignoring everything else. And the Butterfinger. He ate the crackers and the Butterfingers, didn't eat the meat or the cheese. I said, okay, hey, I'm about to grab you a slice of pizza. He said, I can have pizza? I said, yeah, I'm about to grab you a slice of pizza. I go downstairs, and I grabbed the pizza, and he says, "Okay, is it cold?" I said, "What?" I had the pizza in my hand. I brought it back to him. He's asking if it's cold. I said, "Why are you asking if it's cold?" He said, "Because if it's hot, it's gonna hurt my teeth." I said, "Oh, I think you have cavities. I think you have very bad cavities." He said, "I don't know what that is." I said, "Do you watch shows?" He said, "No, I just play with my dolls." And so he has very obviously two different sets of dolls. There's a bunch of Barbies and stuff under his bed, and then there is, for all intents and purposes, a bunch of gobbledygook and other manly toys that he obviously does not play with. I'm like, "Do you enjoy the Barbies more?" And then my friend, as before I can even ask the full question, my friend comes up and says, "Hey man, what's going on?" I can hear him coming up the stairs, and I just waiting for him to come upstairs. I said, "Hey man, you see this room?" He said, "Yeah, it's a little dirty. I don't know why he ain't clean it." I said, "Okay, let's roll back here." He is suffering. His teeth are messed up. He said, "Yeah, because he doesn't know what he's doing." I said, "You have to show him how to do it." He said his mama should have taught him that. I said, "Okay, let's roll back. Let's stop right there. You need to fix this. I can't be here reasonably." And then the kid ends up coming up to me and shows me one of the Barbies and says, "Do you like these braids?" And with the force of God, my friend smacks the doll out of his hand and says, "Why you playing with Barbies, bro?" And pushed the kids to the ground. I said, "Whoa, hold up a second. What's going on? Why'd you hit him like that?" He said, "That's gay." I said, "Okay, fine, dandy, understandable, space dandy even. I grasp it, cool, but you shouldn't do that." And he said, "We gotta get taught a lesson real fast. Hold on." And he grabs the kid's arm real hard and reels the kid back. He's like about to hit him. He smacks the kid across the face. And I'm a little bit confused. I felt that. I winced up and I said, "Whoa, what's going on?" And before he did the second hit, before he hit him in the face, I got in the way of the kid. I said, "Whoa, stop." Boom. And he cracked me. He hit me. And I felt so much pain. I had a wep on my arm. I said, "Whoa, that was, you hit the kid like that?" He said, "Yeah, I gotta show him what's up." I said, "No, no, 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 no. We gotta fight." And he said, "What?" Immediately before he said what, he looked at me confused. I headbutt him right in the bridge of his nose. Right in the bridge of his nose. I had no other response to it. The kid just looked frozen in fear. Just didn't know what was going on. I stumped him out in his gonads. And then I said, "I'm calling CPS on you, man. This is ridiculous." He said, "Don't even dare think it." And I headbutt him again. I went downstairs, grabbed my spend the night bag, and take heed. It's about 7 o'clock at night. I'll call CPS. They don't arrive there yet. And I appear with CPS there to make sure everything's good so they know what's going on. And CPS says, "You can't come in. We're going to observe this. You might be a something factor." I don't know what they said to me, but I'm just waiting in there. And CPS determined that the house was unfit for children. About 5 days later, they ended up getting the child away. My friend was so happy. He said, "Finally, this kid gone." Didn't know I could just give him up like that. Was so angry. So then I ended up going to visit the child, Dimitri. I ended up go visiting the child in the little care facility that he was in. He says, "Do I not have parents anymore?" I said, "Okay, chill out, man. No, you will have better parents." He said, "I can change parents." You sure can. You can change parents. He said, "Are you going to be my dad?" I said, "I'm not going to be your dad. I'm not fit to raise kids. I'm a little bit messed up in the head, little dude. We're going to find somebody really good for you." He said, "Really? That'd be great." So now, as of 5 days ago from this video recording, he has a nice family. Very happy about this. This is the best news that I ever could have talked about. The reason I wanted to wait to make this video was I wanted to wait until he actually found somebody in general to, be his actual family. Very happy about this. This is amazing. Hopefully his teeth get fixed. Hopefully he can get something done with his mouth and things of that variety. I'm not sure if those were his permanent teeth. I believe those were his baby teeth in his mouth. Hopefully he can have his permanent teeth be good. He can actually get some dental work done and actually get some nutrition going on, because that was disgusting. Now, about my friend, I went back over there and he said, "Hey man, I don't respect you, disrespecting my parenting style." I said, "You are an evil man. You are disgusting. You are messed up. You are just a horrible, horrible, messed up dude." And he pulled out a gun and tried to shoot me. That was not fun. He threatened to shoot me multiple times. That was not fun. I did not enjoy going over there. I tried to be the bigger person, but he was very intent on trying to pull a bullet through my chest. So I left. Now, I live in Detroit, Michigan. This is a very common occurrence, just people threatening me with gun violence and things of that variety. But man, it was such a wild experience to deal with. Just wanted to talk about this real fast because it messed up my soul and body and mind and spirit. Anyways, have a lovely day or night wherever you are. Please protect children. Please make sure that the people around you that you can help, you do help. Bye.
I'm your Nick at night, be my Laura, slow. Ooh, happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. Ooh, I love the ride when you're free.